Hi everyone. By the magic of filming and editing, it doesn't seem like any time has passed, but a lot of time has passed. I had to take this little Elfie fantasy pixie baby and put him up on a shelf and leave him alone for a while because I was done. I had exhausted this poor sculpt and I just lost interest. I thought this was just a mistake. I'll have to start all over again. It's a done deal. And I know from experience that that's the part where you just put it away, walk away, and come back to it later. You can always throw it in the garbage later. But take a rest, take a break, and maybe you will come up with some new ideas. Maybe something will change. The problem was, and it was driving me nuts, was that I was using a mix of Genesis Heat Set paint, a spray on matte varnish, yeah, I guess you would call it a spray on matte varnish, and air dry paint, and epoxy, using it all together on one vinyl baby. And I think my vinyl had enough. My nose was falling off, my ears were falling off, I was getting shiny bits. The vinyl sucked up the magenta, and this poor baby was so pink and so hideous. I said, that's enough, I don't want to do anymore. And took a break, came back, and what I ended up doing is epoxying the nose back on, re-epoxying the ears. I tried to smooth the best I could, but there are still imperfections, and I had to have a good talk with myself and say, look, you're making this like a reborn baby. And honestly, these limbs are perfection. I love them. They turned out great. This is awesome. Happy with that. But that's because there are no modifications to this baby. So I can't really look at this baby and say, geez, that doesn't look like a very realistic newborn baby, because it isn't. It's a fantasy baby. So it's not going to be the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself permission to be okay with that and say, okay, let's work with what we have. So what I did was I took some pale matte washes. That just means this is some baby skin, a little bit of burnt umber, and a little bit of matte varnish. And I mixed it with paint thinner. And I did maybe 5 or 6 washes on this baby. And I am recovering from all of that magenta. This is how magenta the baby was. You can't even really tell because this has been varnished over so many times, but it was so pink. This baby looked horrid and I couldn't undo it. But little by little, it's been undone. I mean, it's not perfection. I wouldn't market or sell this baby as a reborn baby. It's a fantasy baby. And there are places where you can see where the epoxy and the vinyl meet. The nose has some texture on it that I'm not happy with. The paint is thick. This isn't how I like a baby to look, but it's not terrible. And I'm gonna keep powering through because I wanna see this to the end. Part of me wants to dump this head, keep the limbs, put a new head on this baby and start over again. But I'm not gonna go there. I can always go there later. Right now, I'm just gonna keep working. So what I'm gonna do is start working on some detailing. I came across a baby that I really liked, and I looked it up and I found out who the artist was, even though I kind of knew. Everybody knows the Twisted Beanstalk. They know Bean. She is an artist that makes fantasy babies, and I love the way she works. I love her personality. She's just all out there, you know, just no filters, just here I am, take me or leave me. And a lot of people take her because she's absolutely lovable. And she did some pixie / fairy fantasy babies that I absolutely loved. And I'm not going to do exactly what she's done. I really like the way she used bold colors. I like the way she used a little bit of white paint to accent different parts of the baby. Still keeping the realism, but playing with color in a different way. And I'm inspired by that, and that's what I'm going to do. And so thank you, Bean, for the inspiration. I just grabbed a handful of kind of detail-y brushes. I grabbed some colors. I grabbed some yellow, some red, some purple, some white, and some blue. I'm staying away from magenta because right now magenta is not my friend. What I want to do is first I want to get those lips a little bit more realistic red. Right now they're super, super pink. So I'm just gonna go to my regular red here, and I'm gonna let my paint thinner go to the bottom, and I'll just mix up here. And again, this is a thinned out red, so it's not straight from the jar. The other paints, well, the purple is straight out of the jar, the yellow is straight out of the jar, and the white is, but the red is thinned down and the blue is a mix of my own. So I'm going to mix the red, and then I'm going to add just a teeny bit of blue, and I shouldn't have gone straight into that jar because I just contaminated it. But I'll tidy that up. I'm guessing I'll use some more of this red, so I'm not too worried. And that's the red I'm going to be using. And I'm just going to go around those lips a bit. There, I think those lips look just a little bit better. And then I'm going to go around that waterline and pink it up. And I'm going to use a little bit of this baby skin. Baby skin's a lot lighter than people think it is. I'm going to mix it with a little bit of white. I'm going to use this white for highlighting. I think the secret to painting these babies, any baby, is just really, really doing a lot of good blending. That didn't make much of a difference, but it did to me. I think maybe just because I know it's there. So there we go, very subtle. You can't really tell the differences there. I'm going to put a little blue in the corners. Get a little blue blendy brush. Blue and red stain your brushes, so you can usually tell which brushes you're using for blue. Even if you clean them, they still stain. And this paint is not going on like it would if I were just painting vinyl, because it's just kind of sticking to all of the thick acrylic that's there. But I just want to give those eyes a little bit of depth. I don't want everything to be the same exact color. And because I have some of that white here on the edge of some one of these brushes, I may take some of that to lighten up some of that blue. So I added a little bit of blue just to give a little depth to those eyes. And I may take some of that blue and put it inside this ear a little bit. Again, if this were a regular Reborn doll, I wouldn't be so bold. I mean, I am a gaudy painter, and I'm not afraid to use color and stuff, but not like this. This is just a little loud and a little dark. So I got those ears a little darker, and I think I'm gonna put a little bit of white over the tops of these ears a little. What I want to do is pull some attention away from the parts that are glued on. I'm not trying to hide it or fool anybody, but I don't want it to be the focus. Yeah, when the ears and the nose fell off, I look like Rumpelstiltskin. I was just like, can you give me a break? I don't want to do this anymore. But I have had moments where that's happened, and then the end result ended up being pretty damn good, and I'm glad I stuck with it. So I try to carry that with me best I can. Okay, got a little baby blue on those eye ridges there. And now the thing I want to do, and this is what I got inspired by Bean to do, I think she did something that looked a little bit like these little sparkly white stars all across the baby's face. I think what I would like to do is do a spray of white freckles. And the best thing to do is to make sure that there's nothing else around you that getting white speckles on is going to ruin. This happened to me before. I was mixing paint and the paint splattered on a baby that I was just about to put in the oven and I didn't even notice. And when I got the baby out of the oven, it had this spray of brown all across it. Part of me was mortified because I worked so hard on that baby, but another part of me went, wow, I love that. So I went with it. And I know babies don't have freckles, but that was a damn cute baby. And it got adopted quickly. It was just the right sculpt. It just worked. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna give this baby a little spray. I'm not gonna do both sides. I'm not gonna do the whole thing. I think I'm just gonna come from this side and just make that happen down the face. Just like that. I really like it. I'm gonna let that dry. That might not be someone else's favorite move, but I'm digging it, so I kind of like it. Yeah, I think that'll work. I might darken up those lips before I pop this baby in the oven, just because I want them to be a little bit more bold. Let me grab some of that. A little bit more defined. And I will take a little bit of baby skin wherever that went and lighten up that nursing blister just a little bit, just because I like the way that looks. And give a little shine to the bottom parts of that droopy little lip. Maybe add a little bit of that there. And I think I may actually be done with that baby's head. Oh, you know what I wish I would have done is pinked up those cheeks a little. I may do that after the white dries, if I feel like it needs it. It's a pretty pink face. And I may just do a tiny bit of freckles down the sides of this baby's foot. And this baby's foot. Not a lot. A teeny bit. And then on the arms. And now that I've done that, I am committed to this baby because I can't reuse these limbs for another baby. And thanks, Bean, for the white idea. You're a genius. I was going to be at Rose this year, and I'm not, and I was hoping to meet her. I used to live in Washington State, where she's from, and I wanted to come say hi, and maybe next year. All right, let's pop that baby in the oven and see what happens.